Sego, Skanagoga, Dega Jahazale, Akwesasnolo, Kawanoge. I'm Corey Jocko from Akwesasne, and I'm from the island, and up here in Tyendinaga with my fellow brothers and sisters. Oh, it's a pretty tense moment, and we knew it was going to come to a situation that it has, considering what has led up to this the last few days with the Wet'suwet'en chiefs meeting up and coming out this way, and the little flare that it led to with Justin Trudeau, and finally made him actually acknowledge this and talk about it, and it led to this. And we knew something was going to happen. We didn't know at what measure, and they came in at full force this morning, and we woke up to the SWAT and their whole troop lined up right at the railroads. And the funny thing about that is we haven't blocked the roads. The ties have been open this whole time, and the whole process of them coming in, and even right now, if you can go to the tracks right now, and they're past the tracks. They're even past where we were, and they have it all locked down, and their trucks are parked down at ties. So, this whole ordeal of us blocking the railroads and them coming in, it's just, it's funny for them to say that when there's been proof for weeks that, what we've been doing. And now you can go see what they're doing, and they're actually blocking it. So, and then just to be there in that moment, it was a tense moment. But to have people next to you that are, we all know that we're there for the right reasons. It's bigger than all of us. This is for the future of the planet, the future generations. This is for the water, the air. This is for all of us to keep living. So in order for this to exist and us to be and the next 7 generations to continue, we got to fight. And we all shouldn't be fighting. We should just be standing up and speaking. But that don't happen. A lot of people are oblivious and like to keep their blinders on and would rather just go about their day and be that puppet or be controlled and not care about what's going to happen in 7 generations. But the ones that were here today, we do care. And there's many more out there, just like more have came today. There's lots happening all over this country and continent, and it's worldwide. So, this has only been the beginning for many, but this has been a long fight. There's been over 400 or 500 years here, and we've constantly been fighting to just exist and protect what we have, the nature, the plants, the animals, as well as ourselves. And that's all we did today. We protected ourselves, the land, and where we were, and to stand up for Wet'suwet'en and make sure that those RCMP got off their land. And that's what this was all about. There was a lot of negotiations that led up to this. But when negotiations that are at the table and you're talking to one person and the one making help, that the group here that can help make this decision happen, they're all here. And then you got these puppets here that take this information. What do they got to go talk to 5 other people and find out what they got to do. So that information always changes and my thoughts, opinions. So we're supposed to be at the same table. That hasn't happened. Trudeau hasn't come to meet none of us, hasn't been nowheres. So it hasn't been fair, it hasn't been right, it hasn't been truthful. It's always been one-sided. And that's why we're here today. Normally, if after you see this interview and you dig in, I do a lot out here, but it's not about that. And that's why I haven't done interviews, and we're not here to talk about this moment today. I was asked to speak on this, and usually I don't in this moment, but in order to let you guys and the world know what's going on out there, it's time. It's time for everybody to stand up, speak up, and you're able to control the future as well as all of us, because it's all of us right here. So it's not about just us, it's about you too. It really was. And being in a situation so tense like that, it's like, you're like, once you get hit or once you get thrown around, what are you really going to do? And you never know. And you know what I mean? To be at that point right there where you're face to face with them, it's like you got one choice. You know what I mean? You're either going to stand your ground or you're going to leave. And we stood our ground. We didn't throw punches to them first. They came in swinging, throwing us around. You seen everybody getting tossed and turned, faces getting mushed in the ground. Elbows, and that's their tactic. We all know that's what they do, and they got to do it in mass. 4 or 5 on each guy, and you know what I mean? And then while the rest are just sitting back there laughing, waiting so they can get their turn, and which they did. They were taking turns. And so, but we remain strong. We're still strong. We're still here, you know what I mean? And that's what it's about, is the strength, the unity, and you know what I mean? Showing, Mother Earth that, this is why we're going to make sure that she can live so we can live. Well, being at the front and right there, whenever it came time, they pushed. And in the time of pushing, we held it until the point where they started breaking off. And all we could do is just keep moving to the side, and they were like just picking us off. That first round, I seen, he's gone. And then literally they're like, once they came in that second time and pulled him, and I was in the middle, he's over there, that was it. They came in and rushed, and he's getting pulled that way. And by the time I can even do that, literally one dude's got you by the neck, next guy's pushing your head to the ground, as well as two other guys got your arms and your legs. And so by the time in the split second of 3 seconds, you're already spread out. And so if there was, an even amount of numbers between us and them, or they wasn't, 10 or 5 or 6 on, one of us, then who knows what would have been happened. But, it was, and we said we weren't gonna, hurt them, and they were really lucky that we didn't want to, and we still, you know what I mean? Things happened. I'm not gonna say much more, and you know what I mean? And well, even before we got to the station, when we were there, when we were getting detained, and you know what I mean, and in my eyes considered kidnapped, because we're on our own territory. This is Ungwehue land, and we're the First Nation original ancestors to this territory. So for them to come in and do this to us, I felt like I was kidnapped today, which in my eyes I was, and we were held hostage today, and then we were let go on their terms by filling out their paperwork. This isn't my terms of my life. They're trying to conform me, but I'm under duress, so that ain't gonna work. So we're gonna go by the great law, and we're gonna go back and we're gonna show these people why and how we do things in the right way and in the right manner through our teachings and our heart. And so soon as that happened, and like they get us all up on the ground, and they got us, and before they get us off the ground, they zip tied each and every one of us. They made sure that, that they were on there, and that we didn't get no other gear off, and they brought us, and they had us all each standing around, and they made sure that each person could be led towards the media like it's a show or something. And it was bigger than that. So, you just go in strides with the day, and they did. They brought us to the facility. They kept telling us over and over they wouldn't give us food, even though we all know how the system works, and they have their breakfast, their lunches, and it's mandatory. And we were in before the lunch hour, so we're around that area for either breakfast or lunch, and they made us wait multiple hours, and they come in jokingly, and as we're sitting back, they're walking by the cells, and they walk by with the food, or they walk by with a blanket, and they're probably talking on the sides, making their little jokes, thinking it's funny, but we catch what they're doing. And so they come and give us these little cheap-ass cheeseburgers, no sauce on it, the bread's burnt, and it's like a half a patty and shit. So it's like, yeah, just deal with what you got, man. Make sure you get through it, and we were all in good spirits. We were all managed to know that we were in this together, and so it's not a lonely journey when you got strong brothers by your side, and so it's always an honor to have that, and so I'm honored to be with the brothers that I'm with right now, and honored to be here on, my mother territory, and with the brothers and sisters, and, to have all these nations coming and helping out right now in a time that is important, because this is for the future. So we only have one life to live, and so you got to do the best you can in that time. And sometimes you end up in situations like today, and some people end up, having to deal with more than others, but that's life, and we just move on to make the best for everybody in the situation, as well as the future of this planet. My message is always, always believe in yourself, and if you have something in your heart and it's telling you to do something, you got to follow that. A lot of times you're clouded, or you feel, guided by others or your surroundings. But if you really feel in your heart that it's time for you to stand up, whether it be making a sign, or calling into your government building, or going into a place of business that might be hindering your livelihood or your culture or your neighborhood, and letting them know, or creating an entity to let them know that it's time for change, and it's time to do the right thing in the right way. And sometimes there's only the push forward to get that done, and sometimes other things happen in the middle. You can't predict everything. So my thing is I'm always going to keep pushing. I'm always going to follow my heart, and I know I did the right thing. especially when I'm doing it for the children, my mother, the land, the water, and again, my brothers and sisters, as well as all the allies out there in the world. So I'm gonna follow my heart. You know, I'm gonna go for everybody out there supporting. You know, I'm gonna go to RPM and, you know, for holding it down and getting the message out there right, because the media doesn't ever tell you the whole story. They give you what you want, which is like this, what you want to hear, but it ain't everything that you need to hear. They don't want you to have that information. So hopefully this gets to you, and hopefully between all of us and what RPM's about to do, and you know what I mean, hopefully we can get that right up in there.